Welcome to the show, the Greg and the Tim Show.
The Greg and Tim
Show. I'm here,
yeah.
as always, with my buddy, Greg Stewart.
And I'm here with Tim.
And you know what we're coming up on in the next month and a bit? You know what it is?
1
year of doing the Greg and Tim Show. Time flies when you're having fun.
And when you're working
when you're
hard.
not having fun, it just flies. It just goes. And so we are actually we've made a list of our top favorite things.
These are
I wanted that piece of paper.
Well,
you can't see that paper.
I don't know if you can see the paper.
I think you can't see the paper, but I wanted it to show.
So, Tim, what we're doing is there's a ton of new viewers.
Yeah.
Like for the first 25 episodes, there was minimal amounts of people watching. Yeah. For the last 25 episodes, there's been minimal amounts of people watching.
Right.
But I think the minimal amounts have switched.
Yeah.
There's this minimal amount, that minimal amount, and now there's a maximal amount.
A maximal amount.
And they haven't seen some of the greatest stuff from the first few episodes and some of the stuff from some of the interviews that we thought were really good.
Yeah. So we are pre-recording some of these things, and we're pre-recording it because like I was going to show everyone my calendar on how many dates I'm unavailable in August. But look at that. Look at all those X's. That's how much I'm not in town in August. And in fairness, a lot of that is work. I know a lot of people think I go away too much. And
most of those are going away.
A lot of that's for
in work. August? You're away for work in July. In August, you're away for
part of August for the first 5 days. I'm away. But then we are doing some fun things in cities that I will name later.
Yeah. Sounds good. So what we have is you guys just saw last week we interviewed Abi Khan.
Yeah. Great interview. If you haven't had a chance, go back. Great guy, man.
He was fun to talk to.
Yeah.
He seems very determined to drive Manitoba into a positive.
I thought you were going to say defenseman into the ground.
No, he was very determined to drive defenseman.
He wouldn't do that.
No, in hockey he says he is.
He's a peaceable guy, and then he said, "Well, we get very." Peaceable is a word.
Oh.
Also, it's not church.
Peaceful?
It's not chorizo, whatever.
Chorizo?
You're right, by the way.
Is it chorizo?
You were correct. I looked at it afterwards.
I'm going to fix this for you. There we
go. But
you looked it up afterwards?
I looked it up. I was like, I just said something. I didn't know if I was right.
Chorizo. It
sounded right. I was wrong. It was chorizo. You were correct.
This is part one of the best of Greg and Tim. I don't know how many parts we're going to do, but
I heard 8. There was an 8
parts.
8 part.
So this episode here is part one. We're going to talk about some of our favorite topics that we talked about. Some of them are only like a couple minutes long.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little bit longer. But these are some of the things that were really good that we thought were great during interviews. They were great during our conversations.
So
if you don't know, back in the day, me and Tim just used to sit in a closet and record things. And then Tim came out of the closet.
As I heard, it's called the cupboard.
The cupboard.
Cupboard.
Yeah, I call closets cupboards.
A small closet is a cupboard.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted to sing a song to start the show?
Well, these are our favorite things.
Okay, go ahead. I'll listen.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens. Brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things.
Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
I used to sing that. I used to be a part of a Winnipeg Mennonite Children's Choir. Shout out Mrs. Litz. And I used to be a little child, and we used to do all those things. And that was one of the songs. And these are our favorite things.
That brings me to my first favorite thing.
Go ahead.
When I learned something else I didn't know about you.
Oh, what's that?
That you were a history major.
Yeah, I'm a history major. I have to pick something.
Cut to the clip. The next segment we like to call...
Time for the segment. Something you don't know about Tim. Do go on. Tell us more.
So, Tim.
Yes, Greg.
What is something we don't know about you?
Well, for starters, I'm going to tell this story.
We just want one thing this week.
I am a history major. This is what I went to university.
Really?
For. History major, English minor. So, but that's not.
That's funny. Just in general.
Most people. Why is that funny?
I don't picture you as a history major.
Why is that?
Because I ask you questions, you don't know the answers to them.
When do you ask me questions?
All the time.
What question did I not know the answer to? You didn't know all this stuff last time about
what president was Gerald Ford?
What president?
Yeah, what number?
That's a numerical number.
But he has one.
Silly question.
Yeah, you don't know the history of it, then.
Do you know the numerical number of Gerald Ford?
I don't.
President?
That's why I'm asking the history major.
That's like saying, what was the age of Gerald Ford when he graduated? Grade 8 or something like that. Like,
well, it would be 4 years less than 18, so he would have been
anything.
He would have been 14.
That doesn't mean I don't know history. Anyway, whatever. But back to the question.
He would have been 14. It's a super easy answer.
I'm just saying.
He's a history major that doesn't know history.
I'm saying, go on. It's a terrible question.
Okay, so
it's a horrible question. The question you just
something
asked
I actually, this is one of the questions. This is something I don't know about you. You're a history major.
Yeah. English was my minor, which is actually funnier. So I do know a lot of history when someone asks me an actual question that makes some level of sense.
The history major clip was one of our first clips that actually went really crazy, and I think it's still one of our top clips on both YouTube and Instagram. And most of the negative comments came towards me.
Periodically you test me with some lame history stuff. Like, what year was the Mandela effect first enacted? Like, stuff like that is like, you don't know
the Mandela effect.
How can you be a history major?
No, I asked you when President.
No, who was the third or 7.5 president of the District of Columbia? You don't know. You must not be a history major.
Yep.
By the way, English is my minor, and I'm not very good at syllable pronunciations.
Syllables?
And where things go.
Syllables?
Nouns, verbs. But you have to pick something in university for a history. And I do know lots about history.
For a major.
I know lots about history.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, that was our first viral clip. Yeah. What is your favorite thing about the beginning of the shows? Like the first few shows, what was your favorite thing? Do you remember?
I would probably have to say when we and we don't.
You have them written down.
Yeah, I didn't know where we're supposed to go on this specifically. Do we start from the top? I don't think so. That wasn't one of the first few things. However, I'm gonna have to say the segment everybody forgot about because we only did it for 3 episodes.
What's that?
When we used to check in with Avery.
What's Avery doing now?
What's Avery doing now? In my mind, it was like really funny because you check in with Avery and it'd be like she's a teenage girl, so be like, not much. And it was one of those things, that you build it up and then they're just hanging out.
And it didn't work.
And it was.
Do you want me to show one of the clips?
Yeah, so show a clip.
Do you want to give Avery a call and see what she's up to instead?
Absolutely. Roll the clip. Song, clip, something.
What's Avery doing now?
Okay.
How's it going?
Good.
What are you up to?
Working.
All right. Just checking up.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
It was one of those ideas that in my head made sense, but then when I watched it, it's like, well, how many times can you do this, right? After the third time, the joke is, it's like an SNL skit where, after the second time, it's like, okay.
We dropped that segment.
Yeah.
We dropped something you don't know about Tim because apparently we learned all of it.
No, but the thing is, you evolve over time, right?
Yeah.
It's like SNL. We're doing, the early 70s when the SNL was like really, really popular and they would have the shark come to the door. Did you watch any like old clips of SNL?
Yeah. And
they would have the shark come to the door and he'd be like talking like at the door, try to get in and be like, housekeeping or whatever. He'd be like, monogram, whatever, what do you call it? What's the thing you get at the door or whatever? Gram, whatever. And he'd trick every time, like, no, I'm not gonna, and then he'd be like, he would trick him, okay, I'm not the shark, And he would convince him that he'd eat the person. After a few times, the joke gets a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like the big bad wolf on the little piglets, right?
Anyway, so what's Avery doing now? I mean, we should get that at some point. But
we should maybe do that segment. Yeah. Do you want to do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give her a call. Back for old time's sake, here is the favorite segment. What's Avery doing now?
Deb?
You are
That's how she answers her phone? Yeah?
Yeah, well, she said dad. We're on the air with the Greg and Tim show. We're reenacting the first 3 episodes.
We're not reenacting. We're bringing back the favorite segment.
What's Avery doing now? Are you super pumped?
Dad.
So what's Avery doing now?
What's Avery doing?
Dad.
What's Avery doing now?
I'm in the bath.
That's perfect. Can you explain what Avery's doing now?
She says she's in the...
I'm in the bath. Like, what?
Well, that'll be perfect. Thanks for sharing, Avery.
Is there water in there, or are you just in the bath?
There's water in the bath.
Okay.
And that was the segment.
What's Avery doing now?
That was good. I liked it. That was probably, without a doubt, the best part of ever doing What's Avery Doing Now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the bath. Oh, well. Anyway, one of our first ever segments that we did that was that you hated and that I loved.
Yeah.
And that actually has been doing well even up until this date. Oh. Is our segment on the Mandela effect, SINBAD, and the SHAZAM movie, and it continues to get views. Let's just roll the clip, Tim. You don't have to talk about it again. Which actually brings us to our next segment. The Mandela effect.
Okay, hooray. It's time for the topic of the day.
So the topic of the day today, Tim, is the Mandela effect. And I know that you don't know a ton about the Mandela effect.
I know enough that if you prompted me with a question,
I know enough.
With a question, that I would fully understand it.
I'm going to literally just pause it there. I know enough. Cut it right there.
That'll be one short day. Just 3 seconds.
I know enough. Grumpy Tim. So let me set the stage for what the Mandela effect is.
Yeah.
Just to open up your brain and close your eyes and think about this.
How about yoga again?
The Mandela effect is a phenomenon that has left scientists, conspiracy theorists, and curious minds alike scratching their heads. It's a peculiar observation that a significant portion of the population remembers events that never happened or are remembered incorrectly. Our story begins with Fiona Brome, a paranormal researcher who unwittingly became a pioneer in the field of collective false memories. It started in 2010 at a conference where she discovered something truly baffling. A startling number of attendees shared her vivid memory of Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, dying in prison during the 1980s. The catch? Mandela was released from prison in 1990, and he's very much alive at the time of that conference. This is why they call it the Mandela effect. But the Mandela effect isn't confined to mere memory glitches. It goes beyond that, venturing into the realm of alternate realities. Enthusiasts of quantum theory suggest that this phenomenon offers compelling evidence for the existence of the multiverse, which, I was watching Loki and it's all about the multiverse. I feel like every movie, every superhero thing going on right now is all about the multiverse, and it's driving me nuts. But anyways, I digress. The theory posits that within each universe, a parallel realities and alternate versions of events and objects coexist, occasionally crossing paths with our own timeline. It's a mind-boggling concept that raises profound questions about the very nature of reality, yet not everyone is sold on the multiverse theory. In the world of psychology, the Mandela effect is sometimes compared to déjà vu, with the explanation lying in the human capacity for confabulation. Confabulated memories are unintended distortions that can be as vivid as real events, often associated with the brain's frontal lobes, and they're not intended to deceive. But there's more to the story.
Go on.
Some believe the Mandela effect is connected to conspiracies involving Large Hadron Collider, LHC, and the rupture of the space-time continuum. Others speculate that it ties to the Others speculate that it's tied to flat Earth theories, while some simply think it's a byproduct of our minds playing tricks on us. So whether it's parallel universes, brain confabulation, conspiracies, or simple mind games, the Mandela effect continues to perplex and intrigue.
Okay, so before we talk about this anymore,
give
me the questions you gave me in the summer to kind of explain what examples of
that's what I got next for you here.
Okay.
So peanut butter, is it Jif or Jiffy? Is it Jiffy or JIF?
Jif, I think, without the FY at the end. Am I right?
You're correct.
Okay.
But is that how you remember it?
Give a couple more things, and I don't want to give my opinion yet.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Is it TUNES or TOONS?
TUN.
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay. 2 for 2.
Berenstein Bears. How do you spell Berenstein?
BERN. No, sorry. BERENSTEIN.
Wrong.
Okay.
It's AIN. It's Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain. Okay. Not the Berenstein family.
Did Curious George have a tail? The monkey.
I know Curious George. I'm trying to remember if he had a tail.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
He didn't.
I wanted to say no, but then I said yes.
And Febreze. Is it spelled? How do you spell Febreze?
FEBREEZE.
No, it's EZE.
EZE. Okay.
Only one E. Oscar Mayer.
MEYERS.
MAYER.
Okay.
Mayer. It's Oscar Mayer.
Oscar Mayer.
We'll give you one more.
Like
Fruit
Mayer
Loops.
Well, what about the movie?
We're going to do the movie in a second.
Started, you can do this. Yeah. Okay. We're on products now.
Fruit Loops.
Okay. FROOP?
P?
Fruit
Loops?
FRROOT.
Yeah, it's spelled with fruit, like FROOT, Fruit Loops.
Okay.
So this all stems from a movie. I think the biggest one is the movie.
Okay.
And the movie was called SHAZAM.
Right.
With SINBAD.
Okay, and you asked me, do you remember the movie called SHAZAM with SINBAD? And I was like, I think so. Sure. It's like, he's never been in a movie called SHAZAM, you dummy. You just remembered incorrectly, right?
Yeah. So there's people that are like trying to find a physical copy of this movie.
Yeah.
SINBAD has come out and said, I've never been in this movie.
Yeah.
I vividly remember watching SHAZAM, and everyone's like, no, you're talking about Kazam.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I've never seen Shaq play a genie before.
Right.
I have seen SINBAD play a genie before in SHAZAM.
Right.
And here's the funny part. He has gone so far to actually make a trailer for this movie to make fun of the people that remember the movie.
Right.
I'm going to introduce myself. I am SHAZAM! I'm the genie of the lamp.
Because he doesn't have a career anymore.
But like the funny thing is like I remember this stuff.
Okay.
So I remember.
This is the part that drives me nuts. It's like, because I think one of the things that was referenced is it's just your brain is so faulty sometimes. The things we remember incorrectly all the time.
Does the Monopoly man have a monocle?
First of all, what's a monocle?
The one eyeglass.
I don't remember. But we want to guess. We want to fill in the blank. I think when you're...
Okay, so did he have a monocle?
No. Well, no. So what's this one on the left?
The ones with the monocle.
Yeah.
And ones without.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have a monocle?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
He doesn't have one.
Okay.
But they might be mistaking him with Planter's Peanut, who had a monocle.
Okay, so I don't know much about psychology.
Yeah.
But typically, when your brain tries to fill in blanks when it doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it sometimes fills them incorrectly. That's just typically that's what happens. But now it drives me nuts when we take something like that and we just go into the multiverse all of a sudden. We take this little shred of misinformation or your brain filling in incorrectly, and we go to all of a sudden,
but it's not
Scott and Doc Brown is sending us into the future and past.
It's not a shred of misinformation though. Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
Do you remember the cornucopia that used to be behind it?
No. I'm very unfamiliar with any of the Fruit of the Loom branding.
Okay. This is really hard for somebody to explain to you because you wouldn't remember this stuff. But
again, how does not remembering something correctly lead to any of this?
I guess the main thing is I remember the SINBAD show. I remember the cornucopia on Fruit of the Loom. I remember the monocle on the guy from Monopoly.
Right.
I remember Febreze spelled EEZE.
Right.
Now, the theory behind all of this is that there was that collider, and when it went off, the two worlds actually went together.
Say that again.
This is where we're going to get really scientific.
Right.
Because I have a very scientific brain.
Right.
There's 5 of me here.
Yeah.
Or there's 5 people here.
Yeah.
Which include me, you, Dave, Matthew, and Ryan.
Okay.
There's me, you, Dave, Matthew, Ryan.
Yeah.
We're running on the same plane.
Right.
But we're in 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
What happened was these worlds went together, and some of me, and then you, and then Dave, and then Ryan, and then Matthew, one of those people became that person.
Right.
So what it's basically saying is that for a while there was 2 of you running on one time plane.
So that's one.
And then they squished the time plane together, and now there can't be 2 of you in the world. So
that's one explanation of why you remember something that didn't actually exist.
Yes, because you've actually taken over the time frame of somebody else.
To me, that is the most illogical explanation of that situation. It is not the most logical explanation.
Now think about it, though. So my person went through the world, saw SHAZAM, saw the monocle, saw the cornucopia.
I get your explanation.
And then I got merged with the other person.
Right.
But my brain went into that person's body.
I completely understand what you're saying in your explanation. I just think it's wonky and don't believe it at all.
Is there a time frame of your life that you don't remember?
I don't remember anything till I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yes, obviously.
None.
You know my very first memory? Have I ever told you my very first memory?
No.
My very first memory was of the day my brother was born.
Holy cow.
I was 2.5 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And my parents think this is the weirdest thing that I remember.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up in that house, walking out of my bedroom, walking out of my room was here. I walked out, looked to the right, living room. My aunt is there folding laundry.
Yeah.
And I said, "Where's mom?" And my aunt said, "Oh, she's going to have your baby brother."
Right.
And,
so
I don't remember my mom being pregnant.
Right.
I don't remember anything about that house prior. I don't remember my brother being a baby.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that stuff.
Right.
I do remember walking out of the room.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't tell me this story over and over again.
Yeah.
This is an actual memory that I can physically remember seeing.
No, I completely believe.
But I don't remember anything else.
So my wife has memories for when I want to say 1 year old to 2 years old, something like really, really young.
Yeah.
Like between 1 and 2. And her mom would be like, "There's no way you can remember that." And she would say, "No, I remember this. I remember how this looked, whatever."
Yeah.
And she's like, she remembers that like clear as day. And like I said, I don't remember a single thing till I was 5. Not one thing.
And I have a really good memory in general.
Yeah.
If you ask Lorraine and you say, how's Greg's memory? She'd be like, "Oh, he remembers the weirdest things."
Yeah.
Like I can remember smell. If I smell something, it'll take me to a memory. If I see something, it'll take me to a memory.
They say that babies, if I'm not mistaken, I could be, but if I'm not mistaken, babies do have the ability to remember just like any other individual of any age. The problem is they don't have the importance to associate between events. So when you can't associate the importance between events and activities, your brain tends to forget them. So they don't have that association. That's why you don't remember typically. And again, my wife seem to remember these things when they were quite young. Typically the memories don't exist before a certain age.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. It's strange. Like there's a lot of things that, like you asked me, what's the first game you remember going to? And I think you asked me off camera for that. And like I can remember sitting in my basement watching the 1991 Grey Cup vividly.
Yeah.
But I was 11 years old.
Even as adults, we forget things that we typically don't put importance of. Like I'll every movie that my wife and I talk about watching, she'd be like, "We've never watched this," and every time I was like, "No, we have," but it's just not.
But then there's a period of my life where I don't remember anything, and it's not when I was a baby.
Right.
Like there's a small period of my life that I don't want to go into.
Right.
That I literally don't remember.
Right.
Like it's like there was a lost amount of time there. And I'm wondering if that's when the collider hit.
See, and that's when I go nuts and go like literally the most illogical explanation of a situation is what's happening now. It's like, we could just misremembering events because that's what our brain does, or we're in the multiverse because that's more fun and exciting.
It is. It's more fun and exciting.
I guess everyone.
Do you ever feel that though that like Hollywood is emulating the world?
Just see what you mean by Adam ruins everything.
Yeah, you are ruining it. Not Adam, but like it should be called Tim Ruins Everything.
The show. I'm referring to the show.
Why don't we have Tim Ruins Everything in the episode?
Do you remember the show Tim Ruins Everything?
No, it's called Adam Ruins Everything.
Do you remember it? The show called because it was in a multiverse. It was in a different universe, and the show existed, and it was starring a guy named Tim. And it's the only reason I remember that is because I was in a different universe.
Anyway, so I do think that there's something that could explain it, and it could be just that frontal lobe. It could be just your brain putting things into your head. But it's interesting to think about. And you know what? If you cared at all, which you don't care about the Mandela effect for the most part, I know you don't. But if you cared at all about it,
not true.
And you bring it up at like a gathering of some sort, you could speak about this conversation. Like you can speak about these situations for hours.
So I do think it's bunk. However, it is interesting. I will grant you that. And you spoke about it in the summer. And it is interesting. Whether it's complete phooey, I think it is. But it is interesting. So I get how you would enjoy, talking about it, and even if I am right in this bunk.
But
that's why we do these shows, right? So we can debate back and forth.
The fact that it's called the Mandela effect, like I wasn't old enough to know what happened to Mandela in the 80s, right?
I'm a bit older, so I do remember that.
So do you remember him dying in jail?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Of course not.
Well, there's some people that do.
There's a whole
which is super weird.
There's a whole big thing when he got freed.
But why do some people think he died?
Because people are dumb.
But why is there a group of people?
Because there's
like it's not like it's a group of people that all like hang out together.
I've never heard of
it's like random people.
I have never heard of anybody in my life that thought Nelson Mandela died in prison. Never, not one.
They literally have.
Who are these they? Who's they?
Okay, there is literally an effect called the Mandela effect.
Yeah, because some lady did a thesis on it.
No, it could be called the SHAZAM effect.
Right.
Because in my mind, it's the SHAZAM effect.
Right.
In your mind, it's the Mandela effect. In the world's mind, it's the Mandela. Like it's an interesting thing to talk about. And bringing it up at parties is always fun because people do remember different things differently.
Right. Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
People remember the brain is crazy how it just remembers. Lots of other examples but again, that's faulty. Our brains are faulty.
Faulty Towers.
It fills in information.
Remember Faulty Towers?
Correct. No.
John Cleese. I know who John Cleese is.
I remember the cover of the
tongue.
DVD. The tip of the tongue and the teeth of the lips.
It was a TV show. It wasn't a movie. Oh,
we must have talked about this months ago, and we're still getting comments. People do not comment about the things I want them to comment. The actual serious conversations, swearing in the arts.
Yep.
We talking about, do we overschedule our kids? Nope, nobody wants to talk about that. But the Mandela effect and the SINBAD movie, SHAZAM, when SINBAD's in that movie, they have something to say even to this day, months after we aired that. I have the tape. I watched the movie. They swear by it.
Yeah.
These are the things that people want to talk about.
Well, people like to talk about what they are interested in. and they're not interested in whether or not kids are spoiled, apparently.
I have the tape. Can we get the tape?
Yeah, so that was one of the most popular segments of the first half of our seasons.
Yeah.
Because I think what it does is it creates conversation, and there's two sides to that conversation that are very strong.
Right, the logical, sane side?
No, the side from Universe A and the side from Universe A2.
Okay. Yes, I enjoy all of these discussions about the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things was when we did a podcast, a regular podcast, in a chair and a couch. And I'm so slow thinking that you, as a time you said, I just didn't have the time to set up the table. And like, okay, because I don't think things through. And then we're talking for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, Kirk Keilback walks into the room. Once upon a time. So
sorry, I'm gonna have to answer this. Tim, this is actually the second part of your birthday present.
Oh,
hello there. How you doing?
I think Kirk Keilback is here. Hi.
You are
Tim.
Tim.
Good to meet you. I'm Craig. Good to meet you.
Good to see you.
Tim, this is the second half of your birthday present. We're gonna send Kirk Keilback.
Hey, this is good.
And it turned from a regular podcast that I thought it was to I'm looking up at Kirk Keilback saying, what the heck is going on?
And then what we'll do is we'll show them our favorite part where he does the play-by-play that you ask him to do.
That's right. Okay. I need you to do a call for me. So here's a scenario. The Jets have the power play. It's the mid to late 80s. They win the face-off, back to the point. The shot is blocked. The Edmonton Oilers scoot out on a 2-on-1. And
I'm not going a half hour play-by-play.
Bob Essenza makes the save. Power play. Just a scenario. You have any freedom, just like in the movie, to do whatever you want. Jets have the power play. They have a shot. It's blocked. The Edmonton Oilers come the other way, 2-on-1, and Essenza makes the save. Can you do that for us?
The Essenza save part is probably the golden.
Jets have the power play. They send out.
Just a shot blocked. Okay, you don't give them so much.
Where does the puck start?
The puck starts
at the shot.
At the point.
The one-timer.
And the shot is blocked at the point.
And then they rush on.
And it's a 2-on-1. Gretzky, you can pick anyone you want.
You mean Babbage takes a shot, it's blocked at the point, and then
that's right.
Gretzky
and Curry go down on a 2-on-1, and then it's saved by Bob Essenza. Take it away.
Putting him on the spot here.
All right. Off the face-off, puck goes back to the point. Here's Babbage, a shot. That's blocked. It bounces free. 2-on-1. Here's Curry with Gretzky. In a goal. Shot, see, Reba. Great save. Essenza, Rob Gretzky. And the Jets win in overtime.
Perfect.
So all the episodes that we're talking about, as we talk about them, they're going to be linked above your head. So just watch your head while you're... Just watch your head while you're sitting there, because every now and again they'll pop out right in front of you. So...
and I'm dumbfounded the entire episode. I don't even. And again, I'm supposed to. Someone said I'm supposed to stand up to shake hands. That is a unwritten rule. I guess you have to stand up to shake hands. But I just wasn't prepared. I didn't know etiquette because I'm just dumbfounded because I didn't expect it. And I still have Kirk Keilback's glasses, so I can see in
Kirk can't.
In Kirk can't.
Is that Shabnoff down the ice? No, Shabnoff retired years
ago. Yeah, great memories.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was my birthday present, so appreciate it.
So before we get to any more of the interviews and our guests and stuff like that, we did a lot of discussions over the first few episodes before the new year, and we did a Christmas discussion. And one of the Christmas discussions that we did was about Die Hard. And this was another debate and another conversation, another topic where you lost, just like the Mandela effect one.
I will admit I lost the Die Hard debate. I prepped for it, but I just didn't know enough.
So let's cut to the debate.
Yeah. So here is the issue.
Yeah.
And every year people talk about Die Hard being a Christmas movie. Okay. We won't say who was talking about that, but so the problem here is we do not have a baseline working definition of what it takes to be a Christmas movie. So
I do.
Is just as a, everything is compared against each other. And the problem is, a Christmas movie is when enough people say something's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So you have all these people who don't like Christmas movies in general that just want to say what's called an anti-answer. It's called something that's going to go against the narrative because they don't want Christmas movies. They don't like traditional quote-unquote Christmas movies. So something with violence and killing and swearing, it's more down there.
So I'm going to read you the definition of Christmas movie, and then we're going to debate this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
And where's this from? First of all, where's the source?
I asked ChatGPT. Okay. The definition of a Christmas movie can vary, but generally it refers to a film that is associated with the Christmas holiday season and often includes themes, settings, or narratives related to Christmas traditions, festivities, and the spirit of the season. Christmas movies often feature elements such as gift-giving, family gatherings, winter settings, decorations, and celebrations of goodwill. While many Christmas movies are centered around the Christian religious aspects of the holidays, others focus on more secular and universal themes of love, generosity, and the joy of the season. Some classic examples of Christmas movies include It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Carol, Home Alone, and Elf. Ultimately, the term Christmas movie is broad and encompassing a wide range of films that evoke the spirit of the holiday season in various ways. So, do you want to take the first one, or do you want me to take the first one?
First one, what?
Argument.
So, before you take your argument, the problem with a lot of these things is they say often, like, or they will many things. So there's no like, if there's one theme, if there's two themes, if the setting is Christmas party like in Home Alone, how often do these things take place? So my argument I'm going to take the argument that the movie Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think, and this is my point, is what I said, is if you could, it's not essential to the storyline that it is Christmas.
I disagree.
It could have been an Easter party they were at.
No.
It could have been a Halloween party when they were all dressing up.
Okay. So you say that. Yeah. And I'll disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm going to knock that point down right now.
Right.
John McClane does not fly home for a Halloween party or an Easter party.
Why not? How about Thanksgiving?
Because he's been gone for 6 months. He hasn't seen his wife.
Thanksgiving is a bigger holiday than Christmas in the U.S.
Okay. He did not fly home for Thanksgiving.
He could have.
But he didn't. He didn't, though. He has been away from his family for 6 months.
Again, he didn't, because that's the premise and the point of the movie.
He flew home for Christmas.
But it could have been other things.
He got off the airplane with a giant stuffed bear while Christmas carols played in the airport, while Christmas trees were in the background of the videos. The setting was John McClane's coming home for Christmas. It starts out with a Christmas party. There's a Christmas party. There's Christmas gifts. There's Christmas trees. And the saying Merry Christmas happens 14 times in the movie. Let me read a couple things to you, because you're going to argue with me. There's 19 Christmas trees in the movie. There's 15 other Christmas decorations in the movie. There's 7 instances where Christmas carols are sung during the movie. And there's 14 uses of the word Merry Christmas. All of those things are more Christmas references than in the movie Home Alone and Miracle on 34th Street.
Just because Die Hard has those aspects, and again, the scene is in a building, an office building, a tall structure, where everything takes place.
The Nakatomi Plaza.
There's hostages.
Yep.
That is the setting. So you're going to have those things current throughout the entire movie.
One of the hostages has, after he gets killed, one of the terrorists after he gets killed, has a shirt that says, "Ho, ho, ho, I now have a machine gun."
You can actually argue it's an anti-Christmas movie.
He referred to... Okay, can I ask you a question then? Is Home Alone a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Wrong. It's a home invasion movie.
Right.
Does it have to happen at Christmas?
Well, they wouldn't have slipped they wouldn't have slipped on the ice if it wasn't at Christmas. Right?
No, that's just winter.
Right. So you're saying it's a winter movie?
Home Alone happens in the winter. It's a home invasion movie.
Right. You make a strong point.
Honestly, Home Alone is more likely to happen outside of Christmas than Die Hard is outside of Christmas.
Right.
Because John McClane doesn't come home unless it's Christmas. Home Alone, the family could leave on a vacation at any time of the year. When do you go on your family vacations?
February.
Okay. So your Home Alone, if you left Avery home alone 10 years ago, would have happened in February.
Right. We have gone away at Christmas.
So you know why Home Alone's a Christmas movie?
Why?
Because both instances for the two like decent Home Alones happened over the Christmas holidays.
I will argue that both the star, Bruce Willis, as well as the director, never intended them to be quote-unquote Christmas movies. That's one argument I'll give.
Yeah.
Just the same way that Frank Capra argued that It's a Wonderful Life was not meant to be a Christmas movie. And not only that, it was released in July. You don't release a Christmas movie in July.
Unless you want it to go to VHS so you can give it away for Christmas.
Most Christmas movies in the movie theaters.
The only way they're going to release it at Christmas is if they release it early enough that they can put it to VHS before Christmas. Okay, so Home Alone, you agree, could be possibly not a Christmas movie.
I can see your point.
Okay. With Die Hard, my last point about Die Hard is it contains goodwill, generosity, and altruism.
Right.
The 3 points that create any great Christmas movie. If you think that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie just because it has action and violence, and Bruce Willis's quote was, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, it's a Bruce Willis movie. The last time I checked, IMDb does not rank movies based on comedy, romance, Christmas, Bruce Willis. So his argument that it's a Bruce Willis movie and that it's not a Christmas movie is bunk.
I admit I lost the debate.
Yeah.
For that one. The Mandela effect, I don't think I lost it. It's hard to argue with irrationality. But the Die Hard one is a more fun one. I can see the points of it being a Christmas movie, and there's no firm rules about there's no list, that's written in the 10 Commandments of movies.
Yeah.
If you think it's a Christmas movie, it is a Christmas movie. If you don't think it's a Christmas movie, it's not a Christmas movie.
Correct.
So that's really boils down to that. But it was a good debate. People, there was people who had some very, very good points
and very strong opinions.
And the person that had the strongest and the best viewpoints I think they sent us a message. So
yeah,
and that's
they didn't comment.
No,
because they're like, I don't want people to know my opinions.
Easiest babe.
Go the distance. Yeah. I think I just watched that movie.
Yeah,
I think that the voice was done by Ray Liotta. Because he said at the end of the movie, Costner goes to Liotta. He goes, you're the voice.
Right.
And then Ray Liotta says back.
What?
No, Ray, you were. And I'm like, why? Just tell us who the voices were.
I think they left it for ambiguity's sake. But the real, talking about the movie, The Field of Dreams, the real debate is who is the voice representing? Other than who says the voice as far as a character or as far as an actor.
Yeah.
We had this discussion where was it the voice of God? You thought God, and I didn't see anything in the movie. And online, it actually doesn't, there's no opinions on it.
It doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell us what the voice is. And the issue with that is that I think that one of the people in the movie was obviously the voice.
Right.
Because they didn't have to credit them twice.
Right.
Right? Because that person, when you work in Hollywood, if you do a speaking part, which we found out there was a couple guys from the thing that were doing speaking parts, they actually get credit in the movie, and their names are on the reel, like on the credit, and they get paid.
Yeah.
So obviously, somebody that's in that movie is the voice.
Right. They're two different arguments, right? One is who represents the voice, and who actually
is the voice.
Right. They're two separate things.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to some of the favorite or not so favorite things, distinct things about the first couple episodes. Do you remember when we asked for questions? The first 3 episodes we asked for questions, and 90% of the questions were from my kids. I have 3 girls, and they offered a multitude of questions ranging from who's your favorite child to who's your favorite child. And so I did not.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite child?
Yeah. And it's still, they're very different. I don't have a favorite child.
You don't have to explain. We'll show the clip.
Because I put out a thing that said, hey, send us your questions. Yeah. And I got a bunch of questions. I don't want you to read them ahead of time. So I'm going to read them out to you.
Shoot. Go ahead, Greg.
And then we'll go from there.
Of this effort.
The next questions get a little bit more difficult.
51%.
The next questions get a little bit more difficult.
Shoot.
And let me see if you can guess who asks these questions.
Apparently, I have to be more interesting, so...
Who's your favorite child?
Ask again.
Who's your favorite
Avery.
Child? And
again.
Who's your favorite child?
Taylor.
I thought you were going to say Raina again. So the next question is there a rule about not talking about your children on the podcasts?
I don't think any of my children will. I think they'll all like to be spoken about on the podcast. Maybe Avery, but I think she kind of plays it up like she's embarrassed, but I think she kind of likes it. So
who do you think asked that question?
Is there a rule? It's probably Avery.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. We should have a little ding, ding.
Can you now that I know who asked the question, can you say the question again?
Is there a rule about not talking about your children on the podcast?
Clearly, she doesn't want me to talk about her on the podcast based inference on the question.
But you've already talked a little bit, so we'll see how that works out.
I haven't said anything about Avery that specifically, have I? I didn't.
No, you just said that she was
favorite. Yeah.
Your favorite, yeah.
Let's go with the least.
And then the last question is, who's your favorite offspring? And go in depth.
That was the same question.
Yeah.
So 2 of my kids asked the same question.
Maybe.
Yes. Offspring sounds like Taylor asked that question because she speaks in that kind of language.
Okay.
And it can't be Avery because she wouldn't ask the same question.
Okay.
Raina's not really around to.
And who's your favorite child was asked by?
Raina.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You know your children.
Yeah.
I don't think your opinion's changed.
I think it's Tristan, but I'm just kidding. All of my children are equally.
Oh, is Tristan one of your children? Let me just mark that down here. I'll give him a call later.
Is it a joke? Oh, it was going to be.
What's Tristan
doing now? I'm just waking up. Anyway, so we had the 2 people that you would think are most qualified to talk about Taylor Swift albums, mid to late 40s, did so on one of our episodes.
That's right.
Because we are experts. We talked about the Taylor Swift album because, A, she's massive. Raina and Taylor went with a couple of friends a year and a bit ago to Minneapolis to watch her concert. And so they've been to see her in the Eras tour. And then we went to the movie theater to watch afterwards as well for $25 each.
Yeah.
So we decided to review the new album.
And we wanted to review it and talk about swearing in
the arts and in general in the arts. So we had Taylor review the album in general. You spent a little bit of time reviewing the album. I sort of glanced at it. And then we talked, like you said, about is there a place for swearing in the arts? What constitutes a swear? Why is this swear not a swear technically, or why is this one a worse swear? What makes the different hierarchy of swears? And we went on this whole conversation. Going back to Taylor Swift's album. Yeah. Okay, so it is garnering a little bit of controversy in social media,
right. I do remember this
in the news, because the songs, and I was in a place, a business place at the
local business.
Yeah, and we got on the topic of this Taylor Swift album, and she said, "Yeah, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I really love this album, but I can't play it." And I said, "Well, why can't you play it? Because it has bad language."
Yeah.
And then that got me thinking that at a public place you can't play this album because of the bad language. That's when I thought about reviewing it, listening to it, seeing what it was. And yes, there is quite a few swear words.
Yeah.
The F word is predominantly the one that's used in a lot of the songs.
In her anger.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I hear on social media that, that how dare she use this bad language? This is no place for our kids that are listening to this. They shouldn't be able to listen because it's so bad. It's really predominant, like this F word. So my question is, and this is kind of a general topic, but where does swearing fit in the arts? For a comedian, let's say. Let me finish the question.
Yeah.
Let me set up the premise before you answer it, okay? As far as like stand-up comedians, we see it sometimes in poetry. We see it in music specifically, where when you're expressing something, is it okay to use poor language, and even dealing specifically with the F word, but even swears in general, right? To use, we'll call it quote unquote poor language or expressive in what we would call a swear word. Yeah. Second question, is there a hierarchy of swears that some are worse than others, and what makes it offensive in the general public? What makes one word, if I say kafala, that's not offensive, but if I use another word,
kafala?
I'm just saying some gibberish word or whatever. But we've said this before, like the word crap, is said from, I've heard it on pulpits, from pastors that I've been to when I've been on the road, right? But if you say the SH word, that's a bad word, right? So there's a hierarchy of swears, it seems to me. So and I'm just going to back up just so that we got a clear understanding of the question. And like I say, is it okay to use? Do you think it's okay to use some of the time, all the time, or does it matter in what circumstance it is? And again, second question: are there some that are worse than others? Talkless, shirtless. Okay.
Talkless?
Yeah, so that was interesting. And, that is something that we got some feedback on.
Yeah.
And we still are getting feedback as far as swearing is concerned. Swearing, and I think when we talked to Zach, drinking kind of was equated at the same thing.
Yeah.
Knowing your audience, talking to a bunch of 7-year-olds and talking to some 50-year-olds, there is some context in it, right? For both swearing and drinking, right? So anyway, that was also something that I found was very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, well, those clips were the first episode of the Best of Greg and Tim show. I think there's a lot of great clips in there, and I think a lot of those things people didn't see the first time around.
Right.
So it's good that they're checking out our best ofs. So next week, Tim, we're going to have another best of episode.
Right.
But the best part is it'll be the same Greg and Tim because we're recording all these at once.
Slight change. We're going to be shirtless.
Tim will be shirtless.
No, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share, comment button, and get it into everybody's earballs.
Earballs, eyeballs, all the
ready.
Balls.
All the balls. Thanks for watching.
Have a good day.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.